We got Drew Dober back here on the program. He's going to be back in action against Brad Riddell at UFC 263 on June 12th. Drew, what's up, man? How's it going?
Oh, fantastic. A little hungry, tired of training, but eager to get in there.
But even on an empty stomach, you're still doing this interview, and I really appreciate it, man. It's all good. I know you're not on the main card, but you must be happy to be a part of another pay-per-view again, back-to-back this time.
Oh, yeah. Fun. I love being a part of, huge cards, especially, following or being on the same card as a Stylebender is great. And I know I'm not on the main card, but getting my job done and over with early so I can enjoy the rest of the fights is equally as awesome.
Were you hoping for a ranked opponent, or are you happy to get a guy like Riddell who, stylistically, this is going to be a fun fight?
No, I mean, I'm here for entertaining fights. I tell people all the time in interviews and in person that I don't chase opponents, I chase performances. And so, I mean, Brad Riddell is a fantastic fighter. He puts on some great, entertaining fights, and those are the type of fights that I want. So I'm not here to, sneak up into the rankings. I'm here to make a loud noise with each and every single one of my performances.
What did you learn the most from that fight against Islam Makhachev?
Oh, grappling. Man, those guys are good. So, first off, I learned just, how good the Dagestani wrestlers are. And second, just fine-tuning my grappling. I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I've wrestled with, college wrestlers. But I think it's just fine-tuning grappling that will fit my game. And so, to be a little bit more detailed, I think I was very defensive against Islam, and you can't be defensive against those guys, and they kind of lead the dance. And so I'm kind of just developing, confidence in my defense. I mean, I took them into the third round, did everything I could. But now I got to start developing an offense, on the ground as well. Offensive wrestling, offensive jiu-jitsu. So, who knows? Drew Dober might be submitting people here soon.
There you go. Well, that's good. Good to take away from that. There's a lot of people who say after that win, Islam's showing signs of being a UFC champion. Do you think that talk's a little too early, or what do you think of people who say that?
I think he has the talent, the technique, the talent. The biggest difference I feel between Islam and Khabib is the mindset. You can just tell in interviews and the manner in which they fight. Khabib's a little bit more of a risk taker than Islam is. Islam kind of plays it safe. And in the fight, I felt him relaxed, and he was kind of content with, sitting in guard and whatnot. But, I think he has the ability. But, I mean, everyone in the top 10 has the ability to be a world champion. So, I look forward to seeing Islam compete again and seeing him climb up that ladder. And I look forward to a rematch as well.
And last thing on him, of course, he's fighting Thiago Moyes. A similar situation to you where he's fighting an unranked guy, but we find out that there's a number of opponents that have turned him down. Do you take some pride in that, knowing that, you'll fight anyone and there's other fighters that are ranked higher than you that didn't want to fight this guy?
I mean, I have 10 losses because I will fight anyone, anywhere, anytime, and so, I'm a huge risk taker because, I'm in this sport for however long, and I want to make sure every single fight's exciting. I want to take care of every single opportunity, and Islam is just a different kind of fighter, and, he wants to, not play it safe, but really take his options. Yeah. I'm actually excited for Islam to get back in there. Unranked opponent, I wish he was getting a ranked opponent, and I'd like to see him how he performs on the bigger stage. But, I like to see him active, and we'll see how it goes. I definitely have my eyes on that fight.
Let's talk about Brad Riddell, 9-1 record. Obviously, comes from a great camp. How do you feel like you match up against him here?
I mean, I think this is a fight of the night matchup. I think UFC gave each other a striking matchup to make things a little bit more simple. So, I think Brad Riddell is super talented, 60-plus kickboxing fights. The dude is, very technical, very, very talented, undefeated in the UFC. There's no easy fights in the UFC. So, I'm training extremely hard. But I think this matchup is a simple one. I think we're both just going to stand and trade. And, who knows? I might incorporate some wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
You talked about it there. You've got 10 losses. That's actually more, that's the same amount of fights he has in his MMA career. I know he's got the kickboxing background, but how much do you think experience will play in this fight just because you have so many more MMA fights?
Huge. It took me a while to learn this, but man, the sports are different. Boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. They're combat sports, but they're really different. And I think he's currently in that transition of kickboxing to MMA, and so he kind of makes a bunch of mistakes to where I made that transition years ago. And the experience in mixed martial arts and in cage fighting is definitely going to play a huge factor in this fight.
Come from a great camp yourself. Who have been some of the main training partners leading into this fight?
I mean, Justin Gaethje always beats me up every Tuesday and Friday. But no, man, everyone at Team Elevation. We have so many great guys that 55, 45, 70. We got Neil Magny, Justin Gaethje. I mean, just look at our roster, and I don't have any one specific training partner for this particular fight. I'm just using everything or everyone.
Yeah, and an up-and-comer at your gym, Justin Wetzel, I spoke to him last week. He's going to be fighting for LFA. How good is this kid? We're really excited to see him on the big stage for LFA.
Oh, super talented. I love his mindset. I mean, he's doing rounds and rounds with, Corey Sandhagen. The dude is no joke. He's super talented. And I have the pleasure of training with him as well. And, man, the small guys give me the most problems, I think.
Did you hear about this whole thing? He spoke about this in my interview with him last week, was apparently TJ Dillashaw had some Ludwig students in Elevation Fight Team. Can you verify this? There was some story about this a couple months ago.
The funny thing, I read the same article and I was equally as surprised. I've been super focused on the things that I need to do. I haven't even noticed, any guys walking in and out of the gym. So I can't confirm or deny it. But man, Corey and Justin have their eyes and ears open. So
yeah, there you go. Wouldn't want to see a spy there when Justin Gaethje's coming at you. That would be pretty devastating. Speaking of Gaethje, we haven't seen him in a bit. I know there's some talk about him maybe fighting Michael Chandler. Any update on him? I'm sure he's just training just in case something comes up, right? Because he's in a good spot regardless.
The dude loves fighting. So whether he has a fight or not, he doesn't have a fight. I mean, this is his hobby. So he's in the gym, trading punch face with everyone in the gym all the time, doing like 8+ rounds like every single day. So I even asked him, I was like, hey, are you training for anything specific? And he's like, no, I'm just here because it's fun. So I'm like, all right, well, so yeah, Justin Gaethje, like whatever opportunity is presented, I mean, he's thoroughly ready for it.
And last thing sort of on your camp, is Usman in the gym or is he back in Florida right now? Because obviously he's waiting to get his next fight.
Yeah, I think he's back in Florida. He cross trains. I think he increases his skill set, elsewhere, and he's got his family. But I do plan on seeing him come back to Team Elevation when he gets his next fight scheduled.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
I got Oscar Martinez as my striking coach, Elliot Marshall Jiu-Jitsu, and Dave Zabriskie as my wrestling coach.
And imagine the weight cut's going well. You got plenty of notice for this fight?
Yeah. I mean, making 55 is always the worst part of fighting. But, yeah, things are going great, man. I've been working with Fuel Your Fight Camp, Laylee Liederman here in Denver, Colorado. And ever since I, hired her on my team, my weight cuts have been smooth.
How's this fight playing out on June 12th?
We're going to play punch face, and he decides what round he wants to fall over.
Where do you feel like a win sort of puts you here? Again, you coming off a loss, but I imagine even though he's not ranked, Riddell's still a pretty notable guy that would sort of keep you in sort of the conversation and moving up those rankings, so to speak.
Yeah, I think it's just one step up the ladder. I don't want to tout this win as like a huge jump for me. No offense to Brad. Brad's a super talented guy, but I think it's just a one in the win streak, one up the ladder, and an opportunity to showcase my skills and open up more opportunities. But I don't think it's going to put me in a huge jump in the rankings. But I'm just excited for fans to enjoy the fight.
How many more fights do you have left on your contract? Do you know?
So I just recently signed a new contract.
Oh, nice.
And I think I got six fights in my contract.
Oh, congrats. That's awesome. Was this before the last fight or even before that?
After my last fight.
Oh, congrats. So 6 fights. Hey, how does the mentality's got to be good going into this fight, knowing that you got the company giving you 6 fights going forward?
I mean, when you put together some knockouts, willing to take any fight, I think the UFC really enjoys that aspect.
Yeah, well, and like we talked about there, he fought Makhachev. A lot of guys don't want to fight him, so I'm sure they're like, okay, here you go. Here's 6 fights. So that's really good. Before we get out of here, downtime, what's that looking like? I know you're busy in camp, getting in any TV time, reading any books, going on any hikes. What are you doing right now?
Oh, my downtime. I've been playing some video games, that Ghost of Tsushima from PS4. Man, I just dedicate my time mostly to video games as I'm like resting and relaxing. Hiking seems like a lot of work, but after the fight, I'll definitely do a lot more of that.
That's good. Man. Video games are a big thing at your camp. Curtis Blades plays. I know Neil Magny, Hubbard, like all you guys are sort of into it, but you don't play against each other from what I hear.
Well, I play the super nerdy games, the single player, like
leave me alone. I want to do my own thing type game. Yeah,
it's an escape, Like it's the only way I can put my mind outside of fighting. It's like I'm going to zone into whatever this character's story is.
Good stuff. Drew, thanks so much for the time, man. I'm looking forward to this card. UFC 263 coming up here June 12th. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media? I'll give you the last word.
Man, if I want to thank the fans, people sending me the messages, people, journalists asking for some interviews. I love talking to fans, and this last year has been super difficult. So, man, if people want to just reach out, get a hold of me, have conversations, it's at Drew Dober.